procedure. Stay calm.
One of my favorite clips of all time. Guys, stay calm, but it's happening. It's happening. Spot ETFs for Bitcoin are going to be approved here very soon. We're going to be talking about that very shortly. It's been an up and down roller coaster of the last couple of months on what is happening with those Bitcoin spot ETFs. But Larry Fink seems highly optimistic that this most recent filing is going to stick. Guys, welcome to the Investing Bros, where we go live every single weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking everything about the crypto realm, about stock markets. We cover the news, we do the TA, and give you everything you need to know so you can invest wisely for yourself. Go ahead and smash that like button if you're excited about today's show. It is Thursday, July 6th. And going to be a fun one. I'm joined by two fantastic co-hosts this morning, starting off with the Florida man, Mr. T. Shroom. How you doing this morning, T. Shroom?
Oh, man. I got to be honest with you, Tim. I'm doing better than I deserve. It's been such a relaxing couple of days. What's that?
Yeah. I said, good to know you're being honest.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to keep it real out here in the streets. But I've got to admit, I'm feeling the optimism, the hopium in the air. Seeing this one clip that we're going to show of Larry Fink just pumping good old BTC. I've got a quote of the day here for us on our screen, not from Larry Fink, but from Henry Ford. He said, "The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing." And that is really some spicy sauce right there, if I do say so myself, Tim.
That cuts deep, man. That cuts deep to the core. And if you make mistakes and you don't learn, that is pretty rough. That is pretty rough when you make the same mistake twice. And even rougher is when you make the same mistake a third time. We've had lots of people on I don't know if we've had talked about too much on this show, but lots of stories from people telling us of their pretty rough dealings in the trading world. But you know what? As Kelly Kellum, one of our good friends, says, host of the BitLab Academy show, he says, sometimes you lose a trade and you didn't lose. You just had to pay a little bit of tuition. And that's a good way to think about it. Good quote there, T-Shroom. I don't have an office quote of the day because we started off with the clip. One of my favorite clips of The Office in general. But we're also joined by the Texas man running production, also freshly out the military, but he still goes by the good old name Army Piper. Piper, how you doing this morning?
Brother, I'm doing fantastic. I can't complain at all. And I do believe that if I tried to go by any other name besides Army Piper, no one would know who the heck I was. But I'm doing great because I finally got my VA rating last night. So done with that. Good to go there. And running this production because, you're throwing me curveballs and said, hey, can you intro a video after our intro video? And I was like, I'll try.
Yeah. It's it's all part of a good, honest day's work. But guys, we're about to jump in here with some of this great content. We got to start off, though, now that you guys have heard from us, we got to hear from some of you guys. Let's read some names in chat, with number one name being Mike Lowry with the GM, followed by Crypto Pew Pew Cruz. Wow, this is great. Pew, 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 grip strength. There we go. We do need T-shirt, and we do need to get a different new keyword because people have caught on to the old good grip strength keyword there. Maybe we'll have a keyword at the end of today's episode for you guys to be saying tomorrow. So make sure you guys watch all the way through. We also have a mellow fellow here this morning. We have Yair Navarro, Mike Play, Ninja Glock is here, Curtis Rorick is here. I did see here a second ago Curtis Rorick finish some of the clip of that The Office, and the fire shooting at us. Great episode, guys. If you guys are not doing anything later this afternoon, find a way to go watch The Office and go watch what's the episode called? It's like fire preparedness or something, like emergency test something. It is probably, if not the greatest, top 3 greatest episodes of The Office. And just very fitting for this morning. Who else do we have here this morning? Elo Brown is here. Eric Wallen is here. Justin Eubanks, 88 Ace, OBC. Great seeing these guys here. Who else do we have? Eric Wallen, same names there. Let's see. Gia S is here. Crux of Crypto. Good morning to you, my friend. Who else we have? Brian D. There we go. Brian D is here, Cycle of Business, Nancy Croy, Sativio Shimoto. And I've read that name a couple times now. T-Shroom, are you saying you know this person, Sativio Shimoto?
I do, yeah. I know exactly who it is.
You know him quite well? You guys spend time together on a regular
Yes.
basis? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the co-creator of Bitcoin,
There we go.
That's right.
cousin
Yeah.
to Satoshi
So-
Nakamoto.
That's right.
And in that realm, when you're cousins, you don't have the same name. You have very similar sounding last names in that culture, I guess, is what we're going with. We're going to keep moving on there. Mr. J is here. Crypto JMP, Tyler Main. Let's get a couple more. We got 5 more names. We're going to jump into content for today. Let's see. A lot of the same. Crypto Trades, 1. Degen Tolman. That's Rick Wilson. 2. Who else do we have? A lot of the same. Josh Denham is here. Stephen E. Shrum, not to be confused with Stativio Shimoto or whoever. Philly Skills 1428. And last one. I'll do 2 more. I see 2 more fresh ones. Grand Roofing Incorporated and Crypto Military Vet. Thank you so much, everybody who is here watching. We got 86 people watching right now. Only 46 likes, though, so we definitely got to get those up. If I did not read your name, guys, it does not mean I don't love you. It just means it's time to go ahead and jump into our content for the day. But make sure tomorrow morning you guys come in early, even before we're live, and leave some comments, and you can get your name read. By the way, we also, before I move on, we'll probably announce this later too when more people come in, but this afternoon we have our silver and gold member bro time, and there is going to be a big announcement about some changes coming to the channel and our community and what we're doing. So if you guys are silver or gold, please be there. It's going to be over in our Discord. No, it's not the free version. So if you're in the free version of Discord, please come and hang out, but you're not going to be in that bro time. This is for some of our paid members, but we'll announce to you guys what's happening later on, probably next week. With that said, let's go ahead and transition over into our show here, starting off with the economic outlook. Piper, what we see in this morning, is there anything coming up anytime soon we need to be aware of?
All right, Tim, let's jump on in here. Looking at today, guys, so far what we've had come out this morning was initial jobless claims. Was at 236,000 people last week claiming unemployment. Was consensus and forecast to be 245K. We came in higher than that at 248,000 jobs cut. So almost 250,000 jobs in the past week. People filed for unemployment. So up a little bit there on the labor side. We will be looking at job openings coming in today at 8 a.m. my time. That would be 10 a.m. over there on the Eastern Coast. That would be at 7 a.m. in California for our morning viewers out there. That's going to be the JOLTS job openings. It's going to be the number of jobs non-farm related that were created for the last month. Right now, it looks like it's going to be less of those. So we got higher jobless claims of unemployment and less jobs being created potentially. So we'll be watching for that today. Tomorrow, unemployment rate, non-farm payroll, see if people are getting paid more or if they're unemployed. And right now, it does look like it's either neutral or it's going to be at 3.6% below what it currently is at. We'll see how that plays out with this number of jobless claims that were filed. So that is what we got there for that. Let's go ahead and move into Truflation, see how Truflation's looking. Truflation coming in down 0.02% at 2.33% today, guys. Still moving down towards that actual 2% on the old methodology to see if that's going to match up. This is what we want to get down there before they'll stop with all the rate hikes and rate pauses and actually start pulling it down. I don't know that that's going to happen. We'll look at the FOMC, see what you're seeing over there in a minute. But let's finish it off right here with liquidations. Looking at liquidations right now at $92.3 million in wrecked individuals in the past 24 hours. A majority of those being in shorts, but almost 50-50 of what we're looking at there. So that's what I've got for there, Tim, on the macroeconomic side. Nothing major going on today. Just, the sad news that people had to file for unemployment. So how many of those are actually filing for unemployment because they just don't like their job versus, I got fired or laid off? Not sure on that one. So we'll see when the job openings come out.
Is there stipulation of what you have to have happen to you to file for unemployment? For some reason, I thought I
Yes.
was reading that if you voluntarily leave your job, you can't. Or
If
do
you
file,
quit,
yeah,
you cannot get
yeah,
your unemployment. So back in the day, before I joined the army and I had my own business, I would much rather cut someone's hours to get them to quit as opposed to firing them. So if you're
right.
losing hours out there, just so you know, if you're losing hours out there and they're giving you all the bad shifts and cutting your hours, they are probably trying to get you to quit to avoid paying unemployment. So there you go.
Here's a fun question for everyone in chat, and I think I'm going to make this the poll here in just a minute. Actually, because I'm going to be jumping in doing my stuff. One of you guys who has control of the Investing Bros YouTube, can you make a poll about the question I'm about to ask? Have you ever? I'm talking to T-Shroom and Piper, and then I want to ask the chat as well. Have you ever purposely tried to get fired? Not necessarily to collect unemployment, just you were tired of that job. And rather than quitting, you just went out of your way to get them to fire you. I'll start with you,
Okay.
T-Shirt.
I will. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Fun fact, T-Shirt and I both have done it, and we did it to the same employer.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah.
Have I quit to get fired?
No. Have you not quit? Have you not quit and you purposely just did
quit
things
working?
to get
Yeah.
fired? Yeah.
No, I never did that. You got to remember, for a good chunk of my life, I was working in the bar business. My dad owned nightclubs, so I was DJing and stuff like that. Great job. Who doesn't want to get paid to play music and drink and party all night? And then I went on into bartending and so forth. Had a little break in there where I sold cars for a living at 21% interest rate. Not my shiniest, brightest time in my history. I was a sleazy car salesman. But I will say that pretty much for the last year, when I got my retirement approved, I pretty much quit working in the Army. So
there you go.
It's called road. It's called road. Retired on active duty. It's a thing we do.
I will say, the way I set that up makes it sound like, like what I did was just stop working. No, I kept working. I just didn't like the job. I knew that things weren't going well, and I just refused to quit until the guy was like, "Hey, this isn't working out. We're gonna let you go." Like, it was fun. It was fun.
There's a lot more details to that.
There's a lot of
makes it
details
less
involved
bad,
there.
but
I thought it was funny though. Anyway,
we might talk about it in bro time today. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe that'd be an interesting topic there for road time. Let's go ahead though and jump on over here. Share my screen, Piper. We're gonna get into the CME futures. There's some slight differences this morning in what was happening. First of all, it's jumped up to 94%. 94% now of CME futures predictors are saying we're going to get that 25 basis point rate hike here in July. We, of course, still have about 20 days, so still roughly 3 weeks or so. But that is getting close to being just about a sure thing. September, it's still predicting we're going to hold. Not necessarily a serious prediction that we're going to get a rate hike there. Although November, I was noticing this morning, it got a little more momentum in November to have a rate hike. And do we have a higher one in December? Yeah, I think that was the other one. So both November and December have gained a chance. It's not a guaranteed thing. And still, gosh, oh my goodness. I just realized, let me go ahead and put a rumor. Let me put this one to bed, guys. The rumor. No, it was not the Crypto Jeb show. Please, that was
smart move. Smart move.
Very poor choice of how I explain that. No, fun fact: T-Shoe and I have both worked for the same employer, more than just one employer.
Yeah.
No one tried to get fired from crypto. First of all, no one was fired from Crypto Jeb show. That there's messy details there. I got to deal with this now. There's messy details there, but ultimately, guys, I want you guys to know I still from time to time talk to Jeb. Jeb and I are good now. Let's stop that rumor before that one gets going out of a muck. Goodness gracious. All right, we're going to keep moving on here, guys. What I am seeing, it does look like now they're predicting the first rate cut to be in May. Not yesterday, we had March being the time we were going to predict. May, it was 30. Oh, gosh, that just threw me off. Oh, my goodness. We're seeing May of 2024 is the first time we're predicting a rate cut coming in here very soon. Let's go ahead and transition away. We're going to keep going on with the show this morning. And we're going to go to our Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index that is recommending this morning that we should be purchasing some pants.
This is triggering. This is kind of triggering for me to see here, Tim. Just so you know.
Specifically military pants. Yeah, they heard, Piper. My computer heard that you were officially out of the military, and they said not so fast. Not so fast.
That's right.
You're gonna get re-enlisted.
One
and
in, one
now
out.
I guess they allow shorts. You know.
One out, one in.
Yeah.
No,
also,
no, we're
get
not.
some good,
We're not doing that.
get some good axes and wallets. Some good stuff here. Yeah, we're getting Elliott Waves ads as well today. But anyway, we're gonna focus on what this whole thing is about. 56 right now on the Fear and Greed Index, still in the greed, but we are down from yesterday's 61, which is kind of funny because I guess it has to do with we'll go over and we'll go to the charts here in just a second. But the price, of course, unless you guys were under a rock and you didn't hear, we shot up and hit new year highs. Yes, we're a little bit down. We're back down to 30,600. But this morning, let's go ahead and pop over to our chart this morning. You guys can see here on this wick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to really make this nice and clean for you guys. First of all, before I even show you the price, you guys can see this green line right here is higher than this, the former high for the year right here. Boom. 31,525. That is the now new yearly high set earlier this morning on Bitcoin. Of course, we are coming back down, but something you guys should keep in your mind. We have been talking here on the Investing Bros about this formation that Bitcoin has been forming. Guess what we did? We just ran right back up to the resistance level, hit our heads there. Something I definitely want to also make sure you guys walk away from the show understanding. If this was a standalone price action, if we didn't have any of this stuff over here, I think there's an outside chance you could look at these last couple of candles here on the 4-hour chart and say, oh, is that a blow off top? I mean, that is a hammer. That is what we'd also call a shooting star. A shooting star, well, there's lots of names for it. Shooting star is one of the names. You could say that that's a bearish candle right there. And for right now, we're heading to the downside. The difference is, though, is we've had a lot of price action in this same exact time. With this one, I'm not going to call this a blow-off top. I'm going to call this just a normal price action, and where we candle wick, eventually we will stick. I don't know if that's exactly how that expression goes, but you get the gist of it.
Oh, you ruined it.
The gist of it is
that which gets wicked gets candlesticked, Tim.
Sometimes it's more fun Sometimes it's more fun to make up new ones. It still rhymed. It still did.
Tim said, "I'm freestyling. I'm freestyling, bro."
Anyway, guys, so you guys can see we came up, hit our head on resistance. We made our way back down here. We haven't even touched the support yet. If we do, not the end of the world. I went ahead this morning, also extended. This was a line that we had last week drawn, and you guys will notice this line has still been relevant because we came down here and touched it and used it as support here just a couple of days ago. So the TA is still holding up. I'm still holding bullish. That will be a line. If we end up losing this blue line, we lose. This is a bull flag slash a rising trading channel. I still believe, guys, that every single time we set a new low and we're setting new lows of support, we're setting new levels of where this price prediction could take us. So now, guys, when we look at this bull flag right here and we extrapolate this over, before we predicted 36, it didn't change too much. Still looking at about 36. 240, 255 or so is the prediction still for this bull flag to break out. And especially when we're looking at things like having the news that has broke about these new Bitcoin ETF filings, this price prediction is looking more and more likely, especially with the weight we're going. I'm still going to hold, guys. I still believe that 36K, it's a good level to at least take some profits. There's still a chance that we make a pop up to 42. Let me go and let's go out to the daily chart. And let's talk about that. We're going to pull up some chart prime indicators here in a second, take a look at more closely related stuff. But let's go out to our Fibonacci levels from the top of the last bull market down to the bottom of this bear market that we have been in. I'm not ready to say we're a full launch into a bull market. You guys know I'm calling this rally a pre-bull market rally, but I do believe the bottom is in. So I believe the bear market's over. We're kind of in our more sideways lull, even though we're still moving up to the right before the real bull market starts, probably later on, probably early 2024. Anyway, you guys can see right here that 0.382 level sitting at 36K. That's one of the reasons why I still believe that level is one that's going to be hard for the Bitcoin price to really surpass with any speed and strength. If it does, though, I'm holding out. Hey, maybe 42, maybe 40K, 42. You're going to get a level of a wick coming up there. Maybe we get a blow off top at 42. 50K is where I used to be up here at the golden pocket. I'm still, there's an outside chance that happens, but I'm just telling you guys, the more and more I've seen this, and I believe I was on Paul Barron here like last week, and I talked about this, and I saw later on in the comments, people are like, I've never heard anyone talk about 50,000. You're the only person I've ever heard that. Well, I guess those people just don't listen to a lot of technical analysts, because if you just go anywhere, if you go any technical analysis right now, unless you're looking at someone who's super, super bearish, you're gonna find you're gonna find a lot of people saying, hey, this golden pocket right here, this $50,000 range, this is a very enticing looking place for Bitcoin to get to. And then they do what I used to do. It's one of those things that's crazy. I was like the first one, at least that I know of. I just never heard anyone else talking about it before I was talking about it. I was the one comparing. Okay, come on, give me a log chart. Then we go automatic. There you go. Going back to 2019 and saying, hey guys, could we see a repeat of 2019 where we ran up? And I got to go back off of log because I forgot yeah, there we go. Go back to linear, turn off auto. There we go. Thank you, chart. I was the only one calling for a repeat of 2019 to do exactly like what we did back in 2019 here in this one, back up, go to 50,000 for the price prediction. Then everyone started calling it. And then our fractal didn't really play out the way I thought it would. And it started to delay, and it started to show there are similarities still. And I still am holding to similar movements of 2019. But I think if we were going to say we're going to get the exact same percentage movements and exact same Fibonacci movements, that's where I'm starting to say, hey, we've already kind of broke from the structure we had in 2019. I believe it's a little rich to make the exact same prediction. And for that reason, I still think we're moving to the upside, similar to 2019, followed by a dip back down to a former resistance level here at 25.2, just like what we had back here in 2019. I haven't done this TA in a while. You guys will remember this. We had this level right here, this significant resistance at about 6,500. This was the last resistance for the big drop. And of course, you guys can see we came back, retested that. Of course, our pandemic levels dropped us a little bit lower. But if pandemic had not happened, we would have come back and retested those exact same resistance levels, turned them into support. I think the same thing is happening here, where we're getting our pre-bull market rally. This was the last big level of resistance before the bigger drop, the FTX shabacle. I think that 25.2 still holds a pretty strong level of support down the road. I just don't see the price making it all the way to 50K. And here's why. Not only from the chart perspective, I think that, guys, there's going to be a lot of resistance right here. A lot of people ready to sell. Also, with this BlackRock and ARK and Fidelity and everything else coming out, you guys think that they're going to let the price run all the way up to 50K? It would make a lot more sense that after they've done a lot of purchasing and buying, and they need to buy more, by the way, guys, because that's the way spot ETFs work. They have to go buy Bitcoin so that they have Bitcoin to offer. Yes, they'll be able to leverage it. Yes, they'll be able to stretch it out, and they'll inflate the price, but they have to buy Bitcoin in bulk. You don't think that they want to buy Bitcoin back below 30,000 again, back at 25.2? Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised to see the price get up here towards 36, maybe start pushing towards 42, and then there'll be a bunch of news, a bunch of things that come out, and everyone's convinced, here we go, 50,000 is coming on. And then the longs get liquidated, the shorts start coming in, BlackRock being one of them. They're shorting the market to get the price back down below $30,000 so they can gobble up that supply that they need to run their Bitcoin spot ETF. It's going to crash back down, and then boom, everyone's going to be fudded out. Everyone's going to be like, oh, Bitcoin's done. I can't believe I fell for that crap. And then all of a sudden the price will take off. That's how these things work. That's how price action works. I'm continuing to watch out for that. So make sure you guys are keeping your eyes on that. Again, I'm not giving you guys financial advice here. I'm telling you, Tim Warren is going to not take 100% profit, but he's going to start taking some profit around 36K. And then if we hit 42, again, I'm never going to take 100% of my Bitcoin profit. There's some it's just untouchable. But I'll probably take a little bit more if we touch 42, because I fully expect the price to come back down. And then I plan any profit I take, I'm not going to go spend that on Skittles at the local grocery store. I'm going to take this profit. I'm going to come back in and close to double my Bitcoin holdings of what I took profit on. That right there is brilliant trading strategy. You guys, you do whatever you want. I'm going to do this. With that said, though, guys, that's the Bitcoin. I didn't even pull up anything else. Let's talk really quickly. Let's talk about some shorter term TA here. Let me go and get rid of my Fibonacci. Let's go back down to the 4-hour chart. And I just want to look at oscillators this morning. There are so many great indicators Chart Prime has. But honestly, this morning, what I'm loving looking at is these oscillators. You guys know I'm an oscillator guy. Love divergences. Love how it tells you the overbought, oversold. And you can kind of work with the predictions of what the price move is doing. We, of course, on the 4-hour chart had this bullish divergence come in that was really, really good. We came down here on our RSI, got below the 30. Yes, we shot up this morning almost to 70 on the RSI here on the 4-hour, but you guys will notice still way low over here. We still have massive room to the upside to go. We're not even back up to 0 yet here on the Chart Prime oscillator. I'm loving it. There's still a lot of room to the upside, which is one of the reasons why I believe. What's the expression again? That which candle wicks will candlesticks.
No,
I don't know.
that which gets wicked gets candlesticked.
That which gets wicked gets candlestick. Well, I'm going to do it one better. That which gets wicked will be outdone by a candlestick here very, very soon, because I do believe we're seeing the development, that explosiveness we needed to see here on the 4-hour, even potentially the 1-hour. Yes, we came way high here, but we're regrouping very, very nicely here. Look at how far that price action fell and how little the RSI, the oscillators fell. That is classic reloading oscillator formation stuff. Guys, I think that before next Monday, we're going to be seeing prices above 32, starting to head towards that bottom of my range, 33.6. And I'm not saying we're going to shoot up to 36,000 here within the next week. I think give it some time. Everything takes time. But do not be surprised to have a $32,000 Bitcoin here before Monday comes in just a couple of days. What time do we got here? 9:27. Let's take a quick look here at Cardano, and then I'm going to throw it over to Piper for some Ethereum and XRP TA this morning. I'm on ADA right here down. Let's go up to the 4-hour chart, take a look at what's happening here. This Cardano suppression is continued. This is stuff that we've talked about. I'm one of the few out in the space. I think it's me, Ben Cowan, even though Piper doesn't like him and he doesn't like Piper. Me and Ben Cowan are both ones predicting these higher Bitcoin dominances. I believe yesterday James Pelton indicated he's in that camp as well, but the camp's not heavily populated. Most people think that Bitcoin dominance is close to over. You guys know my employer, Ben Armstrong. I love him. I agree with a lot of things he says. Not this one. Me and him are definitely at odds. Me and DZ have a stake bet going on. I believe Bitcoin dominance is going to 60%. One of the reasons why, look at what's happening with Cardano during this entire rally. This is just not a good sign for altcoins, guys. The fact that Bitcoin's price is moving to the upside, the fact that coins like Cardano, coins like Matic are just trickling, a little bit to the upside, but mostly, look at them. Their trickle to the upside is after falls. Look at Cardano again. A fall, then trickle upside. Look at Bitcoin. That was a rise and then a trickle upwards. The fact that dominance is now rising while we're seeing prices begin to rise, that's not a good sign, because when everything does fall to the downside, when we do get a Bitcoin to 36K, when we do see Cardano possibly come back up here and hit this level of resistance that used to be support over here, maybe around 38, 40 cents, and then they dip back down, the Bitcoin dominance is just going to continue to boom to the upside, which is why I do believe we're seeing 60% coming here very, very soon. Either way, guys, again, long-term, I'm a big believer in Cardano. Let's tune this positive, because, yes, the price action on Cardano right now, not very positive. You're not making a lot of money right now in your trades. Let's turn it positive, though. Guess what? It's so low. It is so oversold still. You still have a lot of time to be accumulating sub 30 cents Cardano, because just because the alts are not doing well right now, I still believe Cardano is going to be setting $7, $10 here next bull market. The tops are not changing, but what's nice is the price is still suppressed, which is a great reason to keep scooping some up. That's the TA I have for you guys this morning. I'm going to throw it over to Piper. Piper, what are we seeing over on Ethereum and XRP this morning?
All right. So shout out to you on that TA there, Tim, because you were looking at a lot of the same levels that I went over with Crux. So, that's why you're the brofessor, dude. That's why, right there. The brofessor or TA. So taking a look at Ethereum here, guys. Ethereum had a nice little pump up just like Bitcoin did last night. Rejected right here on the auto printed trend line here of chart patterns, or trend lines that we had on Chart Prime here. Got a nice rejection off of it. Coming down right now, I'm watching for the trend assist which is this green line traveling right here. And then I'm also going to be watching for the dynamic reactors. So it looks like they're going to converge here. We could see a little downside to get a bounce off of that, but right now we are pulling back up too. Again, I do think that we're going to see Tim Wick happen here. I'm just going to call it a Tim Wick from now on.
Let's go. I like
That means
it.
it's
I'll
a
take
wick.
that.
It's a wick that's going to get filled in through blunt force. So that's what I'm going to call a Tim Wick from now on. Let's go ahead and pull up my oscillators. Loose setup here that I'm working with, where I get all my oscillators nice and bright over here. So we can see right now we did have the momentum dot and the ribbon twist where it was coming back in here. It pumped up, and now we're starting to get a little curvature there on the Prime Oscillator Pro. Also, the trend is starting to curve a little bit, and money flow is still coming down. That's what I had told you guys about earlier in the week, that I was worried about this money flow coming down regardless of how things were looking, and that I would need to see this flip before I would start to get bullish again, because on the Trend Fusion Oscillator, the money flow index is definitely not bullish right now. Looking at the Prime RSI, we are about to hit back down below the 30 level. So maybe we get, down to those levels that I was talking about there, get that nice little bounce. That's enough for this to be out of that 30 level again. This can fast versus slow mover can turn around back up to the upside, give this another bounce down here, maybe off of the bullish zone, and get that money flow to turn back up in this range here. So that's what I'm watching on Ethereum there. And Tim, I'm going to call an audible today. I'm not doing XRP. Eric Wallen has been screaming for some TA for a hot minute now. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up CleanSpark for him and do some TA for him here.
Because that's what we here at Investing Bros. If you scream, I was kidding. Let's not make that a habit. But we like Eric Wallen.
No, but he's
Eric
been
Wallen,
asking in Discord and everything.
Eric Wallen gets to be the 6-week-old baby today. When a 6-week-old baby screams, you do have to take care of it. I think
this
even legally.
This is true.
Squeakiest wheel gets the oil.
So I'm gonna look at CleanSpark here, guys. We are starting to kick in an overbought here. The Trend Fusion is still going up, but money flow is also coming up right here underneath that zero line. Underneath it, we are getting a little high on the RSI, and the fast mover does look like it's about to top out and start to flip here. Looking over at, let me just go ahead and isolate just the chart. We can see that right now we're about to hit the top of our predictive ranges here. That's that purple line running across the top right there. And let's see here. We got good support. I do think we're going to get another little pullback here, maybe retesting this trend line here on the way back down. But ultimately, be looking for it to come up to that 650-ish range there, coming up to hit this trend line, or this chart pattern line. So that's what I'm seeing there in CleanSpark. I do see that we are about due for a little pullback. But don't be surprised if that pullback finds some very quick support before it comes back to the upside there, Eric Wallen. So I hope that helps you, man. I think that's what I got for you today, man. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. And by the way, whoever hit that down thumb arrow instead of the up thumb arrow, I have a very unique set of skills, and I will find you and remove you from the earth. So.
Oh my goodness. No, okay, so I want to reference this real quick. We're about to jump into the market open here. It's 9:34. I texted T-Shroom while you were speaking, Piper. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I said what I said earlier, I just wasn't thinking about the fact that T-Shroom and I had both worked for Jeb. I want to make sure people understand. Yeah, with all the stuff that happened there, was it fun? Was all that great? No, but no one was fired. Jeb and I talk. Jeb and I are good now. Honestly, go follow Jeb still. I mean, he has a young family. He still mostly does live shows. And
every time I go over there, he always gives me a shout out in the chat. So
yeah, go follow Jeb. There's I people want there to be this hatred between me and Jeb. Were there disagreements? Absolutely. But that's business. And guess what? The right decision was made. And we decided, you know what? It's time to do our own thing. Jeb, you're the man. Take it over. You built this channel yourself. This is your channel. It was always best when he was running it. So I'm glad for him. He's glad for us. Don't make this into what it was. T-Shroom and I have worked for the same company 2 different times. So
3,
just please don't be starting FUD out there
4.
about
Hey,
T-Shroom and I.
It'll probably be
I
4
want to.
different companies by the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh my god.
I just want to clarify. I just said I would find the person that hit the dislike button. I'm going to buy him a beer and find out why he has so much hatred for Clean Spark. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
Get
all.
some
Oh my
feedback.
goodness.
Get
Oh
him,
my
ask
goodness.
him to do a survey.
Yeah. Can you please show me on this chart where I offended you?
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Uh,
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get on in here. What are we seeing in the market open this morning, T-Shroom?
All right. Well, your indexes are opening up decidedly in the red. The NASDAQ leading lower, down 1.2% in the first 6 minutes of the New York session. Your Dow Jones not too far behind, but it's the S&P that's in the middle, diddling in the middle. Let's take a look here over at energy, natural gas maintaining green status, but oil coming down 0.25. We got a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and check in on oil charts. It's not something that, I'm in the 4 hour. Let me go out to the daily, get a little bit of a point of reference here. Yep, oil's still playing ball here with the inflation story, doing what it needs to do so that we don't have a giant move right back up above $80 per barrel. Again, how synthetic that is with the United States dipping into its reserves, probably 100%. I doubt that the oil producers want oil to be this low, but for now, it's working in favor of your boys over on Wall Street and in the crypto exchanges. Moving along, taking a look here at crypto, it's very mixed. You're seeing Bitcoin is up 0.1, so just barely green on the New York session. And then taking a look here, Ethereum is down 0.5. All right, so you're seeing, again, mixed all the way down. Matic and Tron doing actually kind of well relative to the rest of the market, with Tron up 0.9, Matic up 0.8. And then Litecoin selling off, down 2% there, and Lido down 1.9. Yeah, so FET.ai able to hold on to green status. So mostly mixed. So the market is undecided. There's not a clear direction that crypto is moving. Even Bitcoin and Ethereum are not in agreement. So moving on down to the metals, you see in silver sell off much more than gold, down 1.6%, and gold is basically unmoved on the session. You're seeing mega cap tech stocks pretty much selling off across the board, except Meta is barely green. We'll get into some stories between Meta and CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk. Maybe you've heard of him, later in the show here in just a few minutes. Tesla down 2%, Google down 2%. And yeah, definitely seeing some sell off here in the NASDAQ as reflected there. Moving into bonds, you're seeing the bond yields come up quite a bit across the board. The Dixie down 0.2, the 10-year up 2% here, guys. And then your early dates are actually taking a little bit of a breather, taking a stop here at 5.5 is the 6-month and 5.3 is the 3-month. And you are still getting an inverted yield curve there. It's not going away anytime soon, guys. Well, your mid-cap stocks here are all in sync, selling off here, except for Jenny. Jenny up 16%, getting a nice little pop. Let's take a look. There is the shining star on my watch list. This would have been the name to buy. I have not been tracking it too. Oh, yep, looks like it broke out of some resistance here. So that's good for Jenny. Good for anybody who stayed in that name. I went ahead and sold for some profit, but there you go. Jenny's kind of like the chain link of the betting world in TradFi is kind of what I like to call it. So kind of cool there. But Coinbase down 1.9%. Your big banks down across the board. Your oil producers down across the board. ExxonMobil leading lower. Schellenberger maintaining green status. So overall, I'd say there's been a lot of bullish exuberance this week as we celebrated the country's independence. I'm thinking that we're seeing a cooling off. What I would say, though, is I would not be surprised. Yeah, so take a look here on the daily chart. The NASDAQ is testing some major levels of support from Chart Prime and then also from the Bollinger Band midline. So that's really, I think, where the battlefield is today, is probably on the NASDAQ testing those Bollinger Bands. And
Look
then
at those beautiful prime ranges.
That's right, and the prime range, I think it's right on the money there. So,
Yeah.
that's probably what I'm watching. As now, the question is there going to be a name that slips, or will the bullishness for Meta go ahead and buoy the Nasdaq up and prevent it from getting down below that midline on the Bollinger Bands for the NASDAQ. So hopefully Meta can, and then, by tomorrow, there'll be some bullish headline for one of these other names as they integrate AI or they figure out a way to fire all their employees, something like that, to bring not to be too pessimistic, but staying in the theme of firing people. That's the theme of the day. So, all right, that's going to go ahead and round out our market open, seeing a lot of bearishness, a lot of selling off, but that's okay, because as you can see here reflected in the NASDAQ, there has just been since June, just an absolute open season on buying everything that is moving. So there you go. That's going to be our market open. Let's go ahead and get into the community and see what's popping for everybody here in the Investing Bros community.
Yeah, while we do that, do we have any announcements we need? I can't think of announcements other than one we mentioned earlier. In case you guys are just joining in, welcome. Over 130 people watching, 96 likes though. So we got there's probably at least 50, I would say 50 people probably right now who have not smashed the like button, and one of you who smashed the dislike button. I can't see that. That's only something Piper can see, I think. But
two now.
Two. Man, we're doubling. That's a pretty rough growth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that so a lot of times I've seen this before. A lot of times they'll hit it on accident because they're right next to each other. They fat thumb it on their phone. But I like to
yeah.
I'm friendly and loving.
To make sure, I announced it earlier, if you guys are a silver or gold member over in our Patreon, in our Discord, today is the monthly bro time for both silver and gold members, but we got a big announcement about some changes coming, some updates coming to our community, so you definitely want to be there. Also, I told everyone, because I think Elliot Locke is one, he can't make it today, so if you can't make it, but you are a silver or gold member, send me a message on Discord so I make sure to get a summary to you guys, because I definitely want you guys to know these updates first, and then probably sometime next week we'll make the announcement here on the channel. But it's really exciting stuff. All it's good things.
Huge.
You definitely want to be there. Yeah, huge.
Huge.
It's huge. Any other announcements we have? I know next week. I know we usually don't announce this on Friday, but next week we have Chris Inks coming on Tuesday. Usually we have Super Guest Wednesdays, but he has another thing that he does Wednesday morning, so it's going to be Super Guest Tuesday. And Chris Inks will be joining the show. Great technical analyst, amazing mind. I believe he's one of the ones calling 50K. So maybe him and I will have a little tussle about where the top of this Bitcoin rally could get to. But you guys know I love Chris Inks very, very much so. Let's see here. Any comments we have before we want to move on here into headlines? Matt C admitted that he hit the dislike button. That makes a lot of sense. That Matt C would do this. Just kidding. We love you, Matt. The
poll's almost done.
The poll's almost done.
77% no. So. Yeah. And 23%.
That's good.
Yes, obviously. So Tim, you and I are in the minority because
I also want it to be very clear. I'm not recommending people do this strategy. The company that T. Shroom and I both worked for, and I want to also clarify, it's not like the guy that we worked for was terrible. I still like that guy. I still keep up with him. It was the business itself that it was a very confusing job, and it was like, what am I even doing here? I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Is it a known company? Is it a known brand?
No, it's a small local company here.
Yeah, it's a small local brand.
North Central Florida.
Okay, I was gonna say, can you say what it rhymes with? Does it rhyme with
know the name.
It's not a chain. It's a
Market.
Nobody will ever
Hallmark.
know. They're intentionally out of the public eye. They're just
and again,
it's in the technology world.
I think the world of every single person at that company, and to be fair, the employer still likes me and T. Shroom as people. It just wasn't good fits for what we were doing for them. So yeah. And that was funny. It wasn't the same time. T. Shroom did it, and then I went to work for the guy later, and we didn't work there at the same time. So it was a fun little thing.
I think when people see people like Tim and I, they see a high risk problem solver who, more than likely they're going to get somebody like Tim and I will get bored and leave. But there's that 5% chance that we'll figure something out about the business that'll just 10 or 20 exit. So. You take a chance, and I think that's kind of what we fell into there, which is fine.
That word makes me a little uneasy. T. Shroom, Tim and I. I can't imagine. Twin Tims coming at me. So
Tim and I. That'd be a force to be reckoned with. Force to be reckoned with.
Gemini.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Dad jokes.
All right, yeah. Eric
Brought
Warren
to you
says,
by
"Keep
Army
digging,
Piper.
Tim."
And I've got a community moment here.
There you
Actually,
go. Yeah.
let us know in the chat. I've already seen. I think I saw some influencers getting a Threads account. Now we're kind of jumping the gun because this is one of the stories here, but it's in the community section, so it's a little bit of a gray area. Should we get a thread? I don't even know. It's a day old.
You should
thing,
ask
so I don't
that
know.
after you tell people what it is, because people may not
Yeah,
even
sure.
know what it is.
That's a good idea.
Let's-
That's a good idea.
Speaking of, let's segue into those articles, T-Shroom.
Wow, what a natural movement.
Smooth.
So we'll start off with the one of the more bullish kind of headlines here. Crypto asset manager Valkyrie files for spot ETF, naming Coinbase as the SSA counterpart. That's the security surveillance counterpart. So not a surprise there. I would just expect even more of these. And as the number of them get higher, the more bullish it'll be for Bitcoin. All right. Moving on here, this is our cover story thumbnail. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, maybe you've heard of him. He said Bitcoin could revolutionize finance. And there he is. I've got some details here highlighted, but Piper, I believe you've got a clip for us to go ahead and play, and you can do that very soon. Is that ready to go?
It's ready. Let's do it.
Okay, let's let it.
And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear. Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency. And so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
Boom. Right there. You gotta love that.
Is Larry Fink from like Pennsylvania or like? I swear, go to Brocam real quick here, Piper. I swear that he sounds exactly like my grandparents that are like from the Pennsylvania area. You think everything has a very strong pronunciation at the end of the word, and then the breath in between. I'm getting flashbacks of my childhood of hanging out with my grandparents on my dad's side. It is very interesting.
Nan Noise. I don't know how to pronounce that.
It's northeast though, isn't it?
Los Angeles, California. So
California? No way.
Doesn't mean that he lived there, but that's where he was born.
DJ Tallman, Rick Wilson also said he says crypto even more profound. Crypto.
It's just like the crisp end of every single word, and then that little subtle like breath.
All right, but believe it or not, we're not here to talk about the pronunciation and try to speculate.
I'll come on my childhood is what we were doing here.
So yeah, that's bullish. The markets are not reflecting that today, but a lot of that has to do with the Fed. The Fed and that's this story here. Fed sees more rate hikes ahead, but at a slower pace, meeting minutes show. So the NASDAQ, kind of having a natural moment here, and the Dow and the S&P, but all having a natural moment here to kind of correct, see where the buyers are down below, and see kind of how low we can go on the stock market before. What do I mean by that? So, the Fed came out with this negative headline. It's like, how low can where are the buyers? Where are the pockets of buyers? Are they down here? No, people are aggressively wanting to buy right here today. That's what the market is showing. And so once there's enough buyers are gone, then the price will move up. I feel like I did an okay job explaining that. But anyway, moving along, less than 10% of all Bitcoin trading volume happens in the US, some data has shown. This comes to us from CC data. It mostly focuses on derivatives, but what it's showing is that Binance is still very far and away, despite it getting banned and they're losing their license in all these different countries over the last 2 months. Binance here in the dark blue on the bottom continues to outperform every other exchange, including OKX, Bybit, BitGet, BitMEX, CME, and Kraken and others, and Durabit. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is exactly what Larry Fink was trying to get at in his Michael Saylor-like rant on Bitcoin, is that, Bitcoin is an international asset first. In America, we like to get into our bubble, but in reality, Bitcoin is traded mostly, even the derivatives of which, outside of the US. So that is something to note, something to keep in mind, and something that possibly may motivate you to stay tuned here to the Investing Bros. Maybe if you consider subscribing so that you can keep abreast of everything that matters in crypto. Well, moving along here, we've got the EU has leaked metaverse strategy proposal regulatory sandbox in its new global governance. This is not the story we want to linger on, but I'll go ahead and give you a quick synopsis, which is they're looking in the EU to basically think about regulating the metaverse. And a lot of the leading voices are saying we don't really need to bring a lot of the same conventions into the metaverse that we did for the internet. So you have this convention, ICANN, which is the Internet Corporations for Assigned Names and Numbers. It works somewhat well for regulating the internet in general, but they're kind of thinking they want to have a different protocol for enforcing and crafting legislation in the metaverse, specifically over there in the UK. So something to watch. I thought it was kind of interesting. Now we're getting into the stocks and why Meta was actually one of the only green names there on our watch list. Meta launches Instagram Threads in a direct challenge to Twitter. Threads is a text-based message app that looks very similar to Twitter. People will be able to use their Instagram username on Thread and follow the same accounts on Thread as they do on Meta's photo sharing app, Instagram. The release of Threads is noteworthy, considering that Twitter has suffered a wave of mishaps under the ownership of Tesla, Elon Musk leaving the popular social messaging app vulnerable to competing apps. This is FUD and opinion, I would say. You can make an argument for it, but I think that that's kind of in CNBC kind of showing their hands there of who they want to win that battle. And then we covered the Fed minutes, and also we've got one last headline, which kind of maybe explains the timing of Instagram's launch of Threads, which is this: Twitter receives first 3 money transmitter licenses for payment services in the US. Twitter might be taking a big step. I'm actually kind of surprised that we're not seeing more movement in Dogecoin today, because as Twitter is getting some kind of authorization for payments, you would think that there'd be some Doge bros out there speculating that that Dogecoin might be listed as one of the ways you can pay your buddy for whatever services that may be provided over Twitter. So anyway, there you go. That's kind of the tit for tat as Meta and Tesla and Twitter kind of go back and forth here. One thing to note is that it's rumored that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to be fighting in Vegas at some point. That rumor has grown, snowballed, one might say. And so it's pretty interesting to see. But let's go ahead and shift our focus back out of the meme world, out of the social media world, and just back to the market as a whole. We're seeing the NASDAQ come down a little bit more, a little lower right now as we've gone through the headlines. I want to throw it over to Tim, and I want to also hear from Piper. How important is this next rate hike in July going to be? Is the market already pricing that in? And by the market, I mean crypto and equities. Has it already been priced in, or are we going to see potentially a breakthrough that midline of the Bollinger Bands and a test down lower for the S&P and the Dow? So, Tim, kind of what are your thoughts? Is this getting overblown, or should we expect some significant moves down?
You're talking about for moves down for what? For Meta?
For the rate hikes.
Some research.
Yeah, for the rate hikes.
For rate hike. It's not being overblown. They're going to do it. I mean, at this point, they're going to raise rates. Now, 2 of them, that's yet to be seen. How much of this is Jerome Powell not liking things he's seeing and trying to FUD the market? We've already given kind of our rant take on that it's weird how for the first time in over a year and a half, he's all of a sudden being very transparent about future meetings, even though we haven't seen the data yet. But we'll see. I don't think he's bluffing about July. I think July we're going to see a rate hike. And in fact, it's crazy because you could make an argument to say, oh, inflation's moving down. Shouldn't they pause? But inflation moving down and the economy doing so well is kind of an excuse for them to be able to do another rate hike and maybe not have that much pain. Now, what's going to happen after that rate hike? We'll have to see. Will we have more bank crashes? Possibly. it's still going to be very painful. To be fair, even a pause at this point is very painful. A lot of companies are hanging on by a thread, hoping and wishing for some reason they cut rates so they can stay around. But I'm not saying don't pay attention to it. You need to pay attention to it. And I don't think Jerome's bluffing about at least one more rate hike. Piper, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're going to have that rate hike. I think that's going to occur. However, I won't be surprised if we get the rate hike and everyone starts to short and then everything pumps and we get a short squeeze. I won't be surprised by that at all. Because it is all cooked in, but I think a lot of people are thinking that it's going to cause a massive dump. But I will say, as far as companies, I think I read yesterday that 40% of the big corporations are in financial dire straits. And that's pretty substantial. So
interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens down the road. But yeah, I won't be surprised if it does the opposite. Everyone thinks it's going to dump. They set up shorts and then it turns around and wrecks a lot of people. So we'll see.
See. We shall see, indeed.
T-Shroom, your dad said that you and your brother used to break the rake when you were raking to get Adam doing work. So funny story about that. So when I was a kid, we had about 4.25 acres of yard, and I would drive around. We were out in the country and stuff. I had a riding lawnmower that I would mow it, and I would, on accident, because I'm a kid and I don't pay attention, I'm messing with my Walkman, right? Playing my Walkman, my Sony Walkman, and I wouldn't pay attention, and I would hit a tree stump, and it would bend in the mower shell. And so my dad always said I was doing it on purpose to not have to mow the grass. So he made me mow a 4.5 acre yard with a push mower. And strangely enough, I found myself paying a lot more attention to stumps. So
there you go.
These kids and their Walkmans, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, T-Shirt. Do you have any comment? Do you have any comment about the break the rake rumor going around?
I don't remember ever intentionally breaking the rake, but I do remember rakes being broken, and they came at convenient times where it may have led to a union break and some respite from a hard day's labor under the hot, scorching Florida sun. I'll put it that way.
You could work for Joe Biden's press team. Yeah, that was a good political answer.
Yeah, just move to El Paso. You don't ever have to rake. There's no leaves out here in the desert.
When you asked me that question earlier, T-Shirt, I was doing some research, and we had the poll up. Who do you guys think is going to win this fight? And I call it the fight of the century. And there's a reason why. I'm not trying to be dramatic.
I do too.
79% are saying Musk, which means 79% of the people are correct. I don't think it's just such a different size. It's so different. And I don't think Zuck's that talented at fighting. He's only a yellow belt. But here's even more why we call it the fight of the century. There's speculation, and I need to continue to do this more research, but there's speculation that we could see over 25 million pay-per-view accounts to watch that fight. Maybe somebody in chat knows what the record at this point is. What is the most pay-per-views bought for a single fight in the history of the fighting world? I don't know the answer, but the way that I read this 25 million, I would imagine that would be the record. Am I wrong on that? Does somebody know? Is there one that got a lot more than 25 million? Either way, I know 25 million. And I know how these pay-per-views work. One person pays for it, and then like 40 people come to their house to watch it. So 25 million times 40, you do the math. That's a lot of people watching this fight. I don't know if that's the perfect math there. There's got to be some person out there that just watched it by themselves. But then you have these things like how many fights? Shroom, I mean, you and I think, went and did this. We wanted to watch a fight, so we went down to a local restaurant that aired the fight. Like, restaurants fill with over 100 people to watch these fights on one pay-per-view account. So how many millions of people might watch this fight?
Those are commercial accounts. They actually pay more because they're broadcasting it and making money off of it. Yeah, so
I'm sure
it used to cost me a fortune to do those at the bar.
I'm still assuming that they still count that as one pay-per-view account, though.
And it's still one account, million. But they make a ton off of that one account. Yeah. So anytime you use someone else's broadcast for your money to make money, for entertainment. You have to pay on even like ASCAP and stuff like that. Their music industry, you have to pay like 3 different companies to cover all of the music your DJ would play and stuff. So
Yeah.
Let's see here. What is the most viewed Super Bowl? How many people viewed it? What was I'm looking up? It says the highest viewed Super Bowl was when the last year when the Chiefs beat the Eagles. But how many people viewed that Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Come
no
on
idea.
now.
But they say ChatGPT said that Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor in August
Yeah.
of 17 was the top.
I could see that.
And then Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao.
Did it say
Yeah,
how many
could see that too.
pay-per-view? Did it say how many millions of pay-per-views
No.
were purchased for that? See, that's what I'm saying. All right, so the Super Bowl, the highest viewed Super Bowl ever was this last Super Bowl, and 113 million people, 113.7 million people watched. Oh, I guess this is the Falcons Patriots one. Anyway, so it's not the exact number. Anyway, my point here, I don't think that you're being too liberal to expect if there's 25 million pay-per-views purchased, you're probably looking at an average of 10 people per view. This could be upwards of 250, pushing 300 million views on this fight. Could be ridiculous. Could be awesome. I know I don't watch every fight. I watch ones here and there. UFC and boxing aren't, my favorite sport to watch. I'll watch from time to time. I would 100% watch this fight. Wouldn't miss it for the world. What about you guys?
Oh yeah.
I think very entertaining. We should do a bro time broadcast.
If they do it, heck, no, I'm not even lying. If this does happen, I would be willing. I don't know the legality in saying things on YouTube, but I'd be willing to purchase the pay-per-view and find a way for our community to all watch this together. Because that's how excited I am about this. Let me know in chat if you guys would want to do a watch party for a Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg fight. Let me know in chat, and we'll try to find a way to make that happen. Goodness gracious. Well, it's 10:02, man. This show really, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It was a fun show. It was a great show. It got away from us. But that's investing, bros, man. We are not afraid to go down any road, any route. We talk about it all, even when it's a little bit messy. But guys, we'll be here tomorrow morning for the last show of this week. It will be Friday, our Friday show, which, by the way, guys, new tradition. Friday is also our D-Gen Day. You don't want to miss it. One of the gem hunters will be presenting tomorrow. I don't even know who yet, but you don't want to miss it. Last 10 minutes of the show. With that said, though, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.